Hi, so this is just a quick update video for Spry version 1.6.2.01059. So a couple of different things have been added in this one. Most of what's happening is actually in the background. So we've made a lot of changes to some underlying code to make things more modern, faster, and easier for us to update in the future. But in terms of what you'll see as a user, one of the big ones that's been asked for a long time is the status bar in your Excel sheets. So down the bottom, select cells, get counts, min, max, averages, etc. And so that information is now going to show up down the bottom. That is one of a couple of minor improvements you'll see in spreadsheets. There's also a bug which has been persistent for a while with using freeze panes. If you've been informed to avoid using freeze panes, you can get back into it. So you can start using freeze panes again without having to worry about the stability of your spreadsheets. That's another big one that's been resolved. In terms of the rest of the functionality that's been added, we've got a new constraints view in the snapshot viewer. So previously, if you were running a snapshot and you wanted to see what was happening with your constraints, you would have to right-click the tasks in the snapshot viewer tab. But now what you'll spot is in any particular snapshot that the constraints will appear in a list of the pieces of equipment that are involved and whether or not they are constrained. So I'll see if I can find one where something's actually constrained, although I probably don't have one in this example right at the start of the schedule. But you'll see that information. You can control what things you actually see as well. Yes, that's right. In this particular version, I'm running scripted ones. So let's just make one more quick change over here. Let's turn my constraints back on. That might help. I was testing a few things before. Try that again. So source tasks. And that's a bit better. So col, there we go. So we can see in this example that there's a dig constraint at play, and you can control whether or not you're interested in seeing things that are constrained, not constrained, etc. You can still get to the right-click menu for a particular record, but the right-click menu that used to be here has been replaced by this new constraints view. So that's another big one, very helpful if you are debugging in the snapshot viewer. Sort of puts it front and center so that you see it without having to go search for it. In terms of what else has changed, the other major change that's occurred in this one we've actually sort of hidden away for the moment, but that's the Control F for find and replace. So right now, the normal find and replace functionality exists. So if we go across to our source path, we hit Control F, normal find and replace, you won't really feel a difference. But I'm going to show you the behavior of some alternative functionality, which is under, for the moment, until we confirm that people are using it or want to use it. If we turn on this use syntax find replace overlay to true, and I'll hit save so that it holds onto that setting. So save will mean that when I close Spry and reopen it, it will still have that setting turned on. If I hit Control F now, what we'll get is a new find and replace that's inline or an overlay rather than being a pop-up. Now, the benefit of this is there's a couple of different things. Firstly, you can very quickly flick through your results, and it's a little bit faster to work with in that sense. If you want to bring up find replace, it's Control H, and you can still get to the old menu by clicking on find and replace or by right-clicking and choosing find. So you can still get to the old menu, which gives you your all equipment current source paths. But the big improvement or the big functionality benefit that you get from switching to this method is that you get find and replace within the expression compilers as well. So if you've got particularly complicated expressions, I mean, you could always copy and paste them out into Word or whatever and edit them separately. But now you've got this find and replace functionality inside of your expression editors, which can, for longer expressions, can be quite handy. In terms of what else has changed, As I said before, it's a lot of stuff in the background to try and make things faster and more prepared for new features that have been coming through. A bunch of stability fixes, quite a few things that previously hadn't been caught. So yeah, if you have any questions, you have any issues with the new release, please let us know. Otherwise, yeah, we'll leave it at that and have a good weekend.